Welcome to the UNA Baseball Review. Here are your hosts, Coach Mike Keene and Jeff Hodges.
Welcome to the UNA Baseball Review. I'm Jeff Hodges, joined by UNA head baseball coach Mike Keene. Coach Keene, the UNA Lions on a great roll right now. You've got an 8-game winning streak, 21-5 overall, and we moved back into the national rankings at 24th in Division II. And really another great week. You went 5-0, but it was really a team effort. Your pitching did a great job. Your hitters were on fire. Especially in the middle of the week, and you did a good job fielding, so really a team effort again.
Yeah, it was, we knew we were on spring break, so you never know how the guys are going to be in preparation for the week because, obviously they don't go to classes, but, went down and played Union and was a game that we pitched extremely well that weekend. Didn't really swing the bats, especially the first couple games, but then we seemed to get a little bit better as we were going into it, but we pitched so well. And then after the first game, our defense played well, and and didn't allow them to score any runs. So compliment to our pitching staff. And then we knew going down playing Spring Hill. Didn't know much about them. First time that I've ever played against them, so I didn't know anything about them. We looked at their numbers. Boy, they had some guys that were hitting numbers were off the roof. So we talked to some people, and they were legit. And then after we played them, we knew we needed to score some runs because they're a very powerful offensive team.
Backtrack a little bit to the Union series. Game 1, Brantley Clonch, another great start. He's now 4-1. UNA won that game 5-2. Both runs were earned. There was a couple errors in that one end, but Brantley, another great performance.
Yeah, it was. It's one of those things most of the season, it started with kind of Montevallo. We didn't play very well defensively that game, and then the first game with Union, here again, Brantley, especially after what happened last week with Christian Brothers, pitches so well, and we just didn't do anything offensively, and kind of looked like the same scenario was going on, and then we kick a couple balls around, and then we're able to scratch and get a run, but that's kind of what we talked about after the game. But Brantley did his job, just kept competing, kept throwing the zone, attacking the zone, throwing strikes, and another good win for him and a complete game, which is pretty unusual nowadays.
You're only able to play one game the first day. You came back with a doubleheader, and even though the Lions won 9-0 and 5-0, the end of that first game, the rain was starting to come. It was kind of doubt if you would be able to get that second game in, but a 5-hitter, shutout by Kyle Conkle. You came right back. Todd Gibson gave him his first start of the year, and he pitched a 2-hit shutout. Just unbelievable performances by those two guys.
Right, and we had Riley Sanderson actually got sick the night before, wasn't feeling very well, so that's why Todd Gibson got the start. But due to the weather, we were, Coach Hancock and I were talking. We felt that we didn't know if we would get 2 games in, so we felt we wanted to go with Kyle, who's been pitching extremely well, give us the best chance to win the game, and then we'll see what happens. And like I said, I got to give credit to the Union coaching staff because they got out there, they knew their playing field. It was wet, but it was stable. Then they actually, when the rain stopped, they went out there and got the field ready for the second game. And like I said, Todd Gibson, you can't say enough about him getting his first start of the year. And I think it was 2 hits, shutout, just pitched extremely well. And those 2 games, our defense was a lot better.
And going down to Spring Hill, some very important games, in-region games. They're a Division II program now. The Lions won 15-4 and 11-6. And you knew they were a great hitting team. You knew they were going to have to score a lot of runs. Boy, you did that, and you had some batters who were just on fire.
It was by far the most complete 2 games offensively that we've had all year long. And it was kind of nice to see because usually this year's been kind of maybe 2 to 3 guys maybe per game that have really good games and kind of cover everybody. And our pitching staff's been kind of doing their job, so it keeps the game close and allows us to win. But this was a game, we had each game was 5-6 guys deep that were hitting the ball well, and Dylan Calhoun was just had just a great day hitting the ball over the ballpark, and Guzet was back on track a lot better. Boston was driving in his normal runs, but then you had Jake Smith, who especially the second game, I think he's 4 for 4, but he had a good game. Taylor Hayes, went 3 days now back to back with the DH, and he had another solid day. So it was one of those, that we had a lot of guys that stepped up, and both catchers had good offensive days too. So then, Heath Wood put him back out there, and he had a couple hits. So it was one of the first time we had almost all the guys were getting hits throughout the lineup.
Dylan Calhoun with 8 hits, 5 RBIs, scored twice in that doubleheader. Dylan Boston, 4 hits, 4 RBIs, and Jake Smith, as you said, 5 hits, 2 RBIs. Those guys did a great job. Watching a couple things, the Lions 10-4 now in the Gulf South Conference standings. Of course, that's important. But being able to move back into the national rankings is huge for the UNA program, and also because you've been able to get so many additional Division II in-region games this year. Lemoyne-Owen, Miles, Spring Hill, those games, and winning those games really helps you.
Yeah, we talked about this with every group. Some groups listen a bit better than the other ones, but we knew the games we're playing, that was important for the, if we're attempting to get in the NCAA regionals, you have to win those midweek games against regional opponents. So, so far we've been able to do that. And like I said, Spring Hill now with their record, they were 17-7 coming in, and they're going to continue to win. Right now, just looking at what they're going to do, they're going to end up with a pretty impressive record, and they should win the SIAC conference. Now, obviously, they're not eligible for postseason play, but I know they're going to have a good year. And then we have Montevallo again. So right now, we put ourselves in a good position, but we got a lot of ball game to play yet this year.
We'll take a quick break, and we'll have a player profile segment for you when we come back.
TNT Fireworks is proud to support the University of North Alabama and the Lion baseball team. Like the UNA baseball program, TNT Fireworks is committed to excellence. Our product, service, and teamwork are the reasons we are America's #1 selling fireworks brand. Check us out at tntfireworks.com. And remember, if it's not TNT, it's not fireworks. TNT Fireworks encourages the entire Shoals area to support head coach Mike Keene and his UNA Lions by attending a game at Mike D. Lane Field. Roar Lions!
What's going on up there?
Jeff, this is all for you.
Are you serious? Welcoming Lieutenant Chuck Nag
Tell the world I'm coming home. Let the rain wash.
We're here with junior second baseman Kyle Crabtree from Fort Payne, Alabama, and a familiar face to Lion fans as Kyle's been a part of the UNA football program for the last several years and played quarterback the last 3 seasons, but also had a tremendous high school career at Fort Payne in baseball. Kyle, let's just start there and talk about what went into your decision to switch to baseball this year.
Well, yeah, I'd been at UNA for, this will be my 4th year here, and kind of 3 of my other buddies from high school, Carpenter and Conkle and Jess, we're all going to play here, and getting to talking to those guys a little bit and how much they enjoyed Coach Keene and Coach Hancock and all the guys even in the locker room. They had a big part in me and persuading me, I guess you could say. So.
It's been a great decision for the UNA baseball program. You come in and been able to start at second base basically the entire season. But let's talk a little bit about transitioning back into baseball. You've been away from the game for 4 years, but I thought, okay, you hadn't swung a bat in 4 years. You said you did play a little softball, but this is a lot different.
Yes, sir. Yeah, men's league softball is a little bit different than playing baseball in GSC. It's been a good transition. I'd worked all throughout the summer and I had all fall to prepare, and even the spring I'm still learning as we go, kind of. But it's been good, and I think the biggest thing though has been hitting. Been more of a struggle, but it's been pretty good and a good transition for the most part, I feel like. So
you're batting .343, and the Lions also playing some tremendous team defense, fielding .970 right now. And you and Brett Guzet really seem to have a good combination going up the middle.
Brett's really fun to play with. He's a shortstop that's really scrappy and a lot of fun to play middle infield with. It's neat to get to have that connection with somebody playing a position like that. So.
What's it like having your 3 buddies from Fort Payne? As you mentioned, you got Kyle Conkle over at first base. If Jeff Smith is catching and then Austin Carpenter's pitching, the 4 of you kind of have that right side of the infield anchored down there.
It's really neat. I know we were playing, I guess, probably about 2 weeks ago or so, and I think that was the first time that all 4 of us have been on the field at the same time. I kind of just had to sit back and take that in for a minute, because that's something that's really neat that doesn't really happen very much. And so it's been a great experience, and it's been fun to get to play with those guys again. So
you're a secondary education major, so is coaching something that you're looking forward to in the future?
It is. It is. I'll be student teaching in the fall, so I'm starting to wind it all up, and when I get done with the education program, I'd like to go and teach and be a coach as well, and hopefully back maybe at Fort Payne, just wherever the Lord takes me. So.
You've had the good fortune to be a part of several NCAA playoff teams in football. The Lions right now 19-5, ranked for the first time in 2 years. That's got to be a great feeling for you to come over to the baseball program and see them have such great success.
It is. It is. And I've been a part of, like you said, a lot at football, and that was very special to me, and those just a blast, and those guys and coaches, and we just had a great team chemistry at football, and this is the same way at baseball. It's been at baseball, so it's been very special athletically throughout the past 4 years for me. So
great having you over on the baseball side. UNA second baseman Kyle Crabtree from Fort Payne. A great profile segment there on Kyle Crabtree, and he's a guy that's come in and really added a lot to the program. He had an 11-game hitting streak early in the season. He's played some great defense. He's actually thrown a couple guys out from right field this year with some stops he made out there, but also just a guy that's come in. He's hardworking. He's got a great attitude, and he's really been a great addition to the team.
Yeah, it was one of those, you like having a nice story going into the season. Like I told everybody, you don't know who's going to play. Obviously, he wasn't in the starting lineup, but we knew he had a decent fall, but he was so new to the program, hadn't played. Obviously been playing football, came out, wanted to get back into baseball. And we knew Coach Johnson over there at Fort Payne, he was a very good high school baseball player. But the thing about it, like I said, what Kyle's done is pretty much taken all the information and just done everything we asked him to do. Has good speed. As you can see, he can really cover some ground. So it started turning the position that gave him a shot. And when he got his opportunity, he took the most of it. And he's been extremely good defensively. He's been pretty solid offensively too, which to me is pretty amazing considering he hadn't played in 3 years and then come out there and be able to hit like he did is a credit to how he works.
Of course, the ultimate cliche in baseball, I guess, is pitching and defense wins games, but that's really true this year. The Lions fielding 970, and Kyle's an important part of that up the middle. But really, all the way around, great job defensively by your team so far.
Yeah, so far we've been we're talking about our infield's done a pretty good job, and obviously our outfield have really ran some balls down. We got pretty good speed in the outfield, and it just makes things easier when you don't give other teams extra at bats. And we constantly talk about that. If you can limit the at bats from the other team and not give them extra at bats due to errors and that kind of stuff, I said it really helps you, put you in a position to win the game. And especially as much as our pitching staff attacks the zone and throwing strikes, we think it's important for us to make the plays and be ready all the time. And especially, Guzay and Crabtree up the middle have been really solid this year.
Last season we really struggled to score runs, a few base runners, and we had to make the most of what we had. But this year, really a totally different approach, or it seems like at the plate for you guys. UNA ranked among the national leaders, 14th in the nation in bases on balls, but not a single individual ranked. So you have guys across the board who've taken those opportunities, got on base, and that's really helped you score a lot of runs this year.
Yeah, and I think this group we kind of sense that they were buying into what we're trying to do. Each program has certain philosophy, how they want to do some things, how they want to approach it. And if they buy into it, most of the time it will work no matter what it is. And when you do that as a whole up and down the lineup, and then you find that like we're having success with it, and they're starting to understand why we do, what we approach we're going to do. And when you do that, I've said it's been much better as far as getting guys that are hitting better, staying on their pitches, getting on base. And when the guys get on base, one thing these guys are doing for the most part, they're actually hitting them in.
The Lions with a .407 on-base percentage, so important to get guys on, but then you need guys like Dylan Boston to come in behind him. He leads you with 32 RBIs this year, but also some other guys, Hubbock and Jake Smith, others, Calhoun, who have really been clutch in driving in runs.
Yeah, Dylan, we moved him to the leadoff role. We were kind of having trying to figure it out, and we started struggling at leadoff spot, so I basically stuck Dylan in there. He can run, he can do a lot of stuff, and I knew he could hit, but it also gave him an opportunity to get at the bat. But the one thing that's pretty amazing about him, how many RBIs he has in the leadoff spot. So, but again, that gives credit to the backside of our lineup. The 7, 8, 9 guys are getting on base, so when he comes to the plate, he's got a chance. He's not like he can't do anything else, but he can hit too. He's a guy that could hit anywhere in our lineup. He could be a 3-hole hitter if he wants to, but he just brings a lot to us. So, yeah, you got to give him credit for how he's doing it, and we're having a lot more guys get on base.
We'll take another quick break, and we'll talk about the Lion pitching staff when we come back.
He is the most interesting man in the Shoals. He is an artist, a writer, a philosopher, a historian, musician, astronomer, wine connoisseur, environmentalist, Peace Prize recipient. When he speaks, people hang on each and every word, especially the verbs. His personality is so magnetic that he cannot carry credit cards. It is said that once he taught a German shepherd how to bark in Spanish and taught a horse to read his email. Someone recently asked him what he did for fun, and here is what he said.
I don't eat out every day, but when I do, I eat at City Hardware because to me, it's the most interesting restaurant in the Shoals.
We're here with junior pitcher Todd Gibson from Hartselle, Alabama, and played in tremendous programs in Hartselle with Coach Booth over there. I also played at Calhoun with Mike Burns, a former UNA Lion. Just talk a little bit about the transition from Calhoun to UNA in Division II baseball this season.
It's definitely a lot different. I know pitching-wise, there's a lot more to think about. You can't just get away with some pitches. You really have to focus and really hit your spots. I know that's a big thing. And also we have a great defense behind us too, and that's always helpful being out on the mound.
Your first several opportunities to pitch this season were in relief. With the weather and those kind of things, we had to split up a lot of games, but 6 appearances in relief. But the other night at Union, you got your first chance to start. Did a tremendous job. A 2-hit shutout with 9 strikeouts. That had to feel good.
Yes, sir, it did. I was glad to get out there, and it felt really well. And I thought Jeff Smith behind the plate really worked well with me and was really good at calling pitches to help me out.
I haven't seen a lot of 3-game Gulf South Conference series where a pitching staff didn't give up an earned run, but ours did that the other night. And was it something you kind of fed off of each other, because all 3 of you, Brantley Claunch and then Kyle Conkle and yourself, all pitched extremely well?
Oh, definitely. Seeing Kyle go out there throw, and then Brantley the day before really helped me and made me feel confident that we could go out there and get the job done.
How do you feel about this pitching staff as a whole? Our ERA continues to go down. I think we're at a streak now of 31 scoreless innings, so it seems like there's a lot of confidence when whoever goes to the mound.
Oh, yes, sir. A lot of confidence. We've really worked harder every week, and I think we've gotten better every week and really progressed, and we're just feeding off that each and every week, and we continue to do what we do, and we can do a really good job.
And then looking at your bio, of course, you were in the National Honor Society and several honor societies in high school as well as in 2-year school. So what do you do to get that balance and make sure that you get your classwork done?
When I get home after practice, just really have to get to studying and work hard and make sure I get everything done. If I need help, get help and try to work with it.
Lions 19-5 right now. We're nationally ranked for the first time in 2 seasons at 24th, and that's really got to be a good feeling to know y'all having this great of success and what lies ahead of you.
Yes, sir. It's great. I think we have a really good shot to go a long way.
Thanks for being with us. Junior pitcher Todd Gibson from Hartselle, Alabama. Welcome back. We're joined by UNA pitching coach Matt Hancock. And Coach Hancock, we just saw a player profile on Todd Gibson. He's one of the guys that's come in and really helped you this season. But let's backtrack a little bit. One of the few seasons I guess we can ever remember where you had all 3 of your conference starters coming back from the year before. And that's a luxury, but you also never know how they're going to perform, coming back the next year. But they've all really done a good job for you so far.
Yeah, having all 3 guys back really gives us a chance, having the experience, knowing what to expect every weekend when you get out there. But like you said, it's not a guarantee that they're going to be successful. And they've done a really good job of preparing each weekend and giving us their best efforts so far.
Brantley Claunch, 4-1 so far, 2.76 ERA. Kyle Conkle, a couple really bad starts to start the year, but 3 great starts in the last 3 weeks. And then Riley Sanderson, 3-2, had some hard luck and a loss of Valdosta. But those 3 guys have really carried the weight for you. Brantley especially, 49 innings pitched so far.
Yeah, Brantley's been really consistent, and that's exactly what you need out of a number 1. You need a guy that can go out there and beat the other team's number 1, and that's what he's done so far this year, and really been solid every time he's taken the mound. And Kyle's really turned the corner. He's a guy that we always known he's had the stuff. He's allowed base on balls to get him in some problems in the past, but he's really limited his walks and his pitch count's way down, and he's going a lot further in games and pitching really well. And Riley's pitched some big games for us, been a little bit up and down, but looking for him to be a little more consistent as we wrap up the season. But he's pitched some really big ones and been good for us.
In past weeks, we talked some about the bad weather, but that's really had more effect, I guess, on you and what you do as opposed to the rest of the team, because it's a lot of new guys. You wanted to get some innings. You had to see them against Division II opponents, and they weren't really getting those opportunities.
Yeah, it's tough. I feel like this is probably the deepest staff we've had in a long time, or at least deepest staff I've ever had at UNA. And for those guys, it was tough. You show up every day at practice. You keep telling them your opportunity is going to come, your opportunity is going to come, but it doesn't. It's hard when they don't actually get out there on the field to do it. So we kept prepping and got them ready, and they've been good for us.
You've had a nice streak of games the last couple of weeks, so you've really been able to get a lot of those guys in there. A lot of times, 3 guys in a game getting 3 innings apiece, and so on. But just talk a little about some of those guys. Kyle Stevenson's really done well. Blake Talley, and we mentioned Todd Gibson.
Kyle's our main midweek starter. He did that role for us last year, and he's been better so far this year. His consistency's better. He's got more life on his fastball. Blake's a guy that's hadn't done a lot of pitching before, and kind of came in as a dual guy, and we've converted him to a pitcher only, and he's really got some good stuff and pitched well. So those guys give you a chance in the middle of the week to win games that you need to win.
When you go to the bullpen, Austin Carpenter and Jacob Westerhouse have basically been lights out. I think they've given up a combined 5 earned runs in 20 appearances. So you feel good when you get to that point where you can put those guys out there.
Absolutely. We feel like that's probably our biggest strength, our bullpen. And starter's done a good job of getting deep in the games, but when you add Westy and Carp at the end of the game, and then you throw a guy like Todd Gibson in there as well, it's just power stuff with good off-speed pitches, and you feel good when you got the lead from the 6th inning on with those guys.
And of course, an important factor is always the mental attitude. And your guys this season, knowing the team is going to have the ability to score some runs and fight back from some deficits, got to give a lot more confidence to the pitchers.
Oh, absolutely. We know we can only control what we can control. But I think they knew we had a little better offensive team this year, but we still got to hold our end up of the bargain and go out there and perform. But it gives them a little more confidence to go out there sometimes and know that they're going to get a W by their name.
Of course, the Lions this season, the NCAA stats just out, the Lions 19th in the nation in ERA, you're 14th in strikeout to walk ratio, 2.7, and you're 14th in the nation giving up the fewest walks. So you're really not giving anything to the other team, making them earn it.
Yeah, and that's what we talk about. We don't get caught up in stats too much, but one number we do look at is based on balls, and keep telling guys if we're not walking guys, it allows the less chances for them to score, and that's number one goal of it. So we got to keep going though. It's not. Numbers are great at this point, but they're meaningless unless we finish that way.
We'll take one final break, and we'll have more Lion baseball for you when we come back.
Hi, I'm Mike Keene, head baseball coach at the University of North Alabama. Have you ever heard the saying, great baseball players are made in the off-season? As a college baseball coach, I can tell which high school recruits are on a weight program and which ones are not. Help your young athlete reach the top of the sport by training with the personal trainers at the Courthouse Racket Club. Our 5 trainers are ready to work at your athlete's pace and your schedule. Try our 3andMe training program designed for 3 athletes to work with a trainer and lower the cost to fit any budget. Call Ken Irby at 764-0034 to set up a program designed especially for your young athlete. The Courthouse Racket Club, proudly serving the Shoals for 30 years.
TNT Fireworks is proud to support the University of North Alabama and the Lion baseball team. Like the UNA baseball program, TNT Fireworks is committed to excellence. Our product, service, and teamwork are the reasons we are America's #1 selling fireworks brand. Check us out at TNTfireworks.com. And remember, if it's not TNT, it's not fireworks. TNT Fireworks encourages the entire Shoals area to support head coach Mike Keene and his UNA Lions by attending a game at Mike D. Lane Field. Roar Lions!
A great combination, Frostbite and Montague's. Florence's first self-serve yogurt shop has over 50 rotating flavors and over 100 rotating toppings. Customizable frozen yogurt. When the cup is full, the toppings are close by. Just weigh and pay. All sandwiches at Montague's are under $5. The best Philly cheesesteak and Reuben in town. Delicious sides, and they cater. Get a UNA student discount, and they accept the main card. Like Frostbite on Facebook. Frostbite and Montague's, 1611 North Pine Street, Florence. Open now, Frostbite on the UNA campus.
TVA Community Credit Union is proudly open to the entire community, offering unequaled service and convenience.
They are the TVA Community Credit Union, and they make you feel like you're part of the community, part of the family. Customer service is great. I mean, they're great with my wife and I and my daughter.
We bought all of our houses, all of our cars, everything through them. With a little one running around, I don't have a lot of time. So it's real simple just to pull my mobile up and go straight to the site and check my account.
I recommend them all the time, to be honest with you. For one, I mean, their rates are great. Try to work with you to get you the lowest rates, to get you where you need to be, set you up for the future. Don't feel like I'm a number at all. I feel like I'm a part of the family.
From mobile banking to the latest platform in online banking, we make managing your financing fast and easy. Our members are the owners of our credit union, so there are no high-priced stockholders to pay, allowing us to give our members totally free accounts and amazing loan rates. TVA Community Credit Union, everybody's credit union.
We're here with freshman Kyle Hubbock from Mount Juliet, Tennessee, and Kyle's come in and had an immediate impact this season, playing in 19 games. He got 16 starts, but let's just start, at a good high school career. Did you think you'd be able to come in and contribute this early here at UNA?
I've been very blessed with learning the system very quickly and really transferring over from high school. It's a big change from the high school pitching to the college level, and it's been awesome that it's been able to happen this quickly.
I know the coaching staff had a lot of confidence in you, especially at the plate. Knew you were a great hitter, but to come in and be able to hit 321 right now and batting 387 with runners on base, I mean, you've really seemed to flourish.
I got to credit that to the coaching staff and helping me stay locked in. Coach McGregor's helped me a lot by making sure every at-bat I'm ready to go and making sure my focus is where it's got to be to keep hitting the ball.
Is there a different approach? You've had several starts and hit well, but you've also come in, you and others like Taylor Hayes, and in pinch hit roles or coming in later in the game and been able to deliver.
You just got to make sure you're know the situation, know the role you have to play in that game. Sometimes you just gotta come in and just make sure you put everything in play.
Talk a little bit about the defense also. You played over at first base, and we're fielding 970 right now. Seems like we're really doing a great job defensively across the infield.
It's been great coming in behind Kyle Conkle and how he was all conference last year, and I got to sit behind him and really learn from him in the fall. He's taught me a lot about how to play it and how to adjust.
The Lions 19-5 right now, nationally ranked for the first time in 2 seasons, and that's got to feel good for you coming in and being able to be a part of a program that's gaining some national notoriety.
Yeah, it's awesome coming in, and now we're finally getting noticed about it, and we just got to keep on playing the game we're playing to keep climbing up the ranks and see where it takes us.
Thanks for being with us. Freshman first baseman designated here, Kyle Hubbock from Mount Juliet, Tennessee. Welcome back to the UNA Baseball Review, a player profile segment there on freshman Kyle Hubbock. And he's one of several guys that have come in this season and really found a role for themselves. He's done well as a starter. He's also done well as a pinch hitter when you've needed him, contributed, and that's kind of rare for a freshman on this level. Yeah, well, you know, Kyle had some great numbers out of high school, and obviously has got some offensive potential. I think one of the things he was a little lacking in was defensively, but again, through the fall, and he worked hard. It's kind of a new position at first base, but the one thing Kyle does is he brings a lot of effort. You know, when you get him out on the field, he plays hard, loves competing, really gives us everything he does every time of the game. He's typical some freshman. You know, he can have a little bit inconsistent at times, but he's never missing for effort, and that's, to me, that's huge in our part of our program. We'll take a quick look at the Gulf South Conference standings, and right now UNA right in the middle of that race, right at the top, West Georgia, Alabama, Huntsville, and UNA all just very small percentages away from each other. That's great news for right now. You've got 5 weeks of games to go, though, and that's a little different than the past with 33 conference games. I mean, that's a lot of games to go into those standings. You know, it is, and it's one of those things where you look at it and you're thinking, well, in the past, you're about done with the season with what game you're sitting right now, but right now we're basically right at the halfway point. So you got a lot of series left. I think there's 5 series left, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, the next 2 are going to be extremely huge because you're playing the top 2 teams that are in the conference, and that will be where you put yourself in a good position. But it's going to be really challenging, especially with West Georgia having, they kind of came from. They felt they're going to have a good team, and they obviously are, and obviously UAH was supposed to be up to the top, and they are too. There are 12 teams in the Gulf South Conference in baseball. Mississippi College and Lee not eligible this year, so 10 teams. So only 6 are going to advance to the conference tournament. And right now there seems to be a little separation, maybe 7 teams competing for those 6 spots. But it's all the teams that are always there: Valdosta State, Delta State, West Georgia. It's going to be a tough race. It is, and we're fortunate. We did get to West Florida did get 2 out of 3 from us, but then we were able to get series win against West Alabama and Valdosta, which were huge. But the team is deep, and you got to be able to do well the rest of the way. And like I said, a lot of times you're looking at some of the teams out of the 7. I mean, somebody we're looking this year is going to be a very good team that's not going to get in the top 6 this year. And you played 5 series so far. You've won 4 of the series. That's always key when it comes down to if there's head-to-head matchups. But again, the opportunity to host is sitting out there, and of course that's something your players are aware of and y'all are aware of as well. Right, and this this hasn't happened since the 90s, and nobody other we've been around long enough so we know what it can be like. So it is something that we talked about, and obviously you like to be able to host at your home. So it'll come out to this next halfway of the season, and we got to continue to play well down this back stretch. Next weekend the Lions on the road, a huge series at West Georgia. Then you're going to come back, have a doubleheader with Spring Hill, and then a 3-game series with Lee. So a lot of great games coming, home games coming up for the Lions, and I hope you're out there to support UNA. As we mentioned, the Lions 21-5 overall, ranked 24th in Division II, 10-4 in the Gulf South Conference. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for watching the UNA Baseball Review. Please join us again next Sunday at 11:30